friends, welcome back. I am Tara T with Old Soul Factory, and today we are going to be creating a whole new collection of glittered safety eyes for you guys. So I realized I never really have sat down and made a set from start to finish, explained why I picked the names, the colors, the vibes of the actual collection and stuff. So I thought it would be super fun to take you from start to finish of this whole process. Of course, there's a little pre-work I already put in, but I'll explain some of those steps and stuff for you guys in case you're interested in making your own safety eye collections, or you just want to know the inspiration behind things, because I am very much a why person, and I love knowing all of the little details of things like that. So I want to share as much as I can with you about why I picked what I picked for this next collection that's brand new. Okay, so basically this is going to be the color palette that we are working with for this collection. I kind of brainstormed it all, got it all together already, but as the video goes on, I'll share some little tidbits about some of the colors, some of the things that I specifically mentioned in this set and all of those kinds of things. So I'm very excited to share all of this with you because I feel like this is such a fun and such a creative and nostalgic kind of pattern set. And so I think it would be fun to dive into some little fun tidbits and stuff about the 90s and stuff that I found out while also researching all of this and everything. As you know, my brand name is Old Soul Factory, so I've been trying to base all of my sets off of kind of retro themed ideas, kind of throwbacks, retro, vintage kind of ideas that have been floating around in my head. I just thought it would be a really fun theme kind of across my brand and stuff. So far, so good. That's kind of what I've ran with for the most part. And it's turned out pretty fun so far. So I love learning new things too. So whenever I sit down to research all of these vintage stuff, I always find really cool fun facts. And if you know me, I love little tidbits of information, and that's one thing that I think everybody in life just deserves to do, is to keep learning, because I feel like that's kind of the spark it kind of gives everybody a spark in life, I feel like. So that's what we're doing today. So this is the color palette though. This is what we're going to be starting with and working with throughout this video. You're going to help me pick out some of the glitters, and I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking and what's kind of going on in my head for each of these colors and such. So we'll pick out the glitters. I'll tell you about my process to make sure that I have everything written down and recorded to remake these sets exactly the same the next go round. And then we're going to actually sit down and make them out here at the table, since I've got everything out and I'll have it all ready for it. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first things first is I want to make sure that I pick out the actual glitter colors and stuff. I've decided for this set that I wanted to go with the retro 90s theme. I kind of wanted to do the opposite of the Groovy Glow collection that I already had. That's a bit more of a throwback. And I wanted to make it a little bit more modern. So when I kind of inverted that color palette, these are the colors that basically had kind of come out of that. So it's almost the opposite of that one. So if you get the Groovy Glow and you get this 90s eye collection, you basically have everything that you really need. That way, if I do restocks, these will kind of be the basic restocks. That way you can just get these two sets and you'd have pretty much one of every color that you could need for sitting down and making safety eyes or plushies, I feel like, pretty much. So I feel like it covered a lot of the bases. So I have thoroughly enjoyed putting this together, but that is also why I want to keep the colors kind of more of a color shifting color, hopefully. I want to try to find colors that are inspired by these, that have cool color shifts and stuff. The Groovy Glow color collection is all color shifting colors backed with either black or white if the colors are the lighter colors, or if it's the darker, deeper colors, they have the black behind them to kind of just make sure there's one little sealed layer on the backs of every single safety eye. And so I want to do the same thing here. So I know that I want to need a color shifting glitter for each of these colors. I know that I'm also going to want a mica powder to back all of them in, whether I end up doing black and white, which I think that's what I'm leaning towards anyways. And then maybe some fine glitters to throw in there just to mix them together and add a little extra something maybe. But again, I want to try to keep this as basic as possible because I want to be able to reproduce these eyes quickly, efficiently, and it's going to be one of my staples, I feel like. So without further ado, I'm going to get out my glitter bins. You can look down at them with me and we'll kind of pick some stuff out based on our color palette that we're working with. So basically this is what we are going to be working with for today. This is my little silicone mat that I always put down before I start making the safety eyes. It keeps everything off of my actual wooden table. Glitters are really easy to clean up off of this. So are mica powders. To clean up my surfaces, I have this little desktop vacuum that I use quite frequently. It just scans across my little desk, and so I always do that before I get out any new colors or anything, or I start mixing any new eyes up, or get out my resin in general, just because I don't want any other glitters mixing at all. So I always do that really quickly before I get it out. And then I also usually get one of my alcohol wipes out and just wipe down the whole surface real quick, which I have actually already done, so we are good there. I know I had briefly showed these before, but basically I have two big bins of different glitters that I have been using for my safety eyes in general. I have one that's more of the fine and chunky regular glitters with a row of color shifting glitters back here in the back. And then I also have this whole bin over here on this side. This is mostly the color shifting stuff or the specialty stuff that I have added into some of my eyes. As you can see, there's like, this is a good one to kind of show you. I feel like something about these is just super neat to me. I ended up putting these in the candy store collection that I did. I feel like candy stores are just iconic from back in the day. So I made like a fun candy store set recently as well. And those are actually in those eyes. I don't know if you can see them super great with this angle, but they all have those little stones in them mixed with a glitter that matches to back it. That was a super fun one to kind of curate out of here, but again, there's so many colors in here, so we need to get started on this. Okay, my little ice maker's maybe gonna make some noises in the background, but ignore that, okay? But I am ready to pick out my colors. As you can see, I moved you up just a little bit so you could see more of the colors, but the first color on the list is indeed red, and I feel like this chunky red color would be just about perfect, but like I said, I want them to kind of match or have some sort of color shifting property or something that kind of elevates these eyes a little bit more. So I want to try to find something that has kind of a red shift to it. So I know that red shifts are really hard to do though. I do not have a lot of colors that have any sort of red base even in them really. I feel like this one's probably the closest one, and this one's kind of the one I'm leaning towards, honestly. But it's kind of got more of an opal base with like some red. I feel like people avoid the color red in general, so literally this is pretty much all I've got besides actual fine glitters. So I think I'm gonna do these two together. We'll do a chunky red and then the opally kind of color shifting red. It's not as color shifting as the other ones, but I like that idea for the red so far. So I'm going to put them off to the side over here, and we'll keep those off to the side. I like to go ahead and put them all out at the same time for each color. That way I know I didn't pick the exact same color, and I can see them all together lined up on my desk over here, which I will show you after we're done picking them. Okay, the next color that is on our color palette is called Controller Crush. It is inspired by the Nintendo 64. This one was a fun one. I'm a gamer, so finding something like that was a really unique thing. The controllers themselves and the console itself is actually like see-through-ish, transparent, you know, so you can see through the orange color of it, which I thought was really neat. So I want to kind of emulate that somehow. Again, for oranges, I have some regular chunky oranges over here. I have these, but I don't believe I have a really good orange color over here either. I feel like this one's probably our best bet. Some of these bottles are chunky glitters, but just the fine glitters stick to the sides quite a bit. But this is like a yellowy orange shifting glitter color pigment, and I really like this color, and I know I haven't used it on any other set, so I think I'm going to use that as more of my chunky or my color shifting glitter. And then I want to put some chunky glitter in there like I did with the other red one. Let's see if we have a good orange for that though. Honestly, I might not have a great chunky orange, which is kind of surprising. I feel like I have every color possible until I get to something I actually need. I might throw a little bit of this fine glitter in there. This one is pretty close to what I want, but I want a little bit more orange in there. So I might just add a little bit of that fine glitter into this one. The next color we have is the Jazz Design. I love this like whole concept. This is like one of my favorites out of this whole thing. I feel like it's such an iconic pattern and symbol, and everybody knows what it is. And so I want to nail this one. This one's really important to me, okay? So I thought long and hard about this one, and I really want to do something that's like bright teal, okay? So I have this one that I think's really pretty. I also have this one, but I felt like this one was too blue already. What other ones do we have? We have this one, but I feel like it's too dark. It needs to be like bright teal for this set, I feel like. That one's got too much purple in it, I feel. But it does have purple in the design, so I was like, maybe I can put a little bit of fine glitter or something in there. But these two are really pretty together so far. I feel like maybe this one would be more the color we're going for though, since it's cooler. I could add a little bit of the chunky silver in there, and then maybe some kind of purple color. If I'm gonna add purple though, it better be that bright stinking purple. You know what I mean? Ooh, I think we've got a winner. I like these three together. I know I'm making this more complicated on myself, but I want the colors to be really perfect for this pattern. So I think mostly these two, and maybe just a little hint of the purple, since, you know, it's got the purple line in it. I feel like that makes the most sense. So I'm gonna do those three. The next color on our list is gonna be high volume. I've thought long and hard about this one. This one's very basic in my mind. I've already got this one going. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do out of these two, but I know I want to do one of these two. These two are just both perfect. One of them's definitely more like green, I feel like, and one of them's definitely more yellowy. As you can see, this one also has chunky glitter in it, but all of the small glitter has kind of stuck to the sides again, but you can see them. They're pretty cool. This one's called Late Autumn, so I have a feeling it's got more of a yellow kind of refraction in it that I'm kind of trying to stay away from. And this one definitely has like the dark green, the bright green. It has more of like an electronic feel, which is kind of what we're going for since it's the volume button. And then I wanted to make sure that I put some black in there with it. So let me find. I had these two. This just basic black. It has a little bit of like a holographic to it though still. So it wouldn't just be plain black behind it, but just a splash of that black in there with the green would be really pretty. And then last but not least, we have Pixel Dust. Pixel Dust is one of my personal favorites. I was a PlayStation girly growing up. So I feel like this one kind of hits home for me just a little bit. Color shift wise, there's obviously not a lot of stuff going on for gray tones. It's mostly back here in this section. And honestly, there's not a lot of colors that I haven't already used for other color palettes and stuff in this section. So I thought maybe we could dip into these bottles. Like this one's a silver opal, but I feel like it's very girly feeling, and I want this one to stay very neutral. So we do have just the regular silver, but again, it has a lot of girly flakes to it, kind of. We have this one, it's called Shining Night, which is just an opal base with like black fine glitters in it. But then I also thought about this one. This one's called Dusk Forest, but it's kind of got more of a brown glitter tint to it now that I really look at it. And obviously that's not what we want. We want to keep it very neutral. We want to keep it very literally just gray. We just want very gray. So I feel like this one has too much purple in it. I feel like this silver's probably our best bet right now. And then maybe just putting like the regular silver in there. I feel like this one has the least amount of like holographicness to it. So I feel like mixing a little bit of this chunky glitter with some of just the regular, with a lot more of the fine glitter, would kind of turn out the way I want to in my head. So I think those are our colors. I'm going to move these bins back out of the way, and I will show you the final colors that we have picked for these projects and these colors so far. Okay, so overall, I feel like we did that pretty efficiently, I would say. Okay, so we have our little pizza party colors, which will be these two. We have the orangey colors for the controller crush, which I think will be very perfect together. We do have 3 glitter colors for jazz design. I'm thinking I might take this out because this has holographic color changing flakes in it. This one's very shiny already, and I feel like this one's gonna make the colors too light and kind of desaturate them a little bit, and take away from the pop of these two colors. So I'm gonna take this one out after looking at it, but these two will be our Jazz Design colors. Love that one. That one's gonna be my favorite. I already know. I shouldn't pick favorites already, but I already know. And then we do have the high volume colors, which this one looks more yellowy, but I promise it's got a lot of green in it. And then we do have the silver colors for the PlayStation, or Pixel Dust color, okay? But it's based off of the old PlayStation. Something, I don't know why I named this the 90s palette either, but this is kind of like early 2000s almost a little bit. I wasn't even born in the 90s. I'm so sorry to kind of out my age a little bit, but I really do have like an appreciation for that time period and the lifestyle and the trends and the pop culture and stuff that happened back then. So that's kind of what also helped inspire this palette a little bit. It was just so vibrant. It was so colorful. It was so fun, it seemed like, and a lot more lighthearted. And that's kind of what I'm trying to bring into this brand. And so I just thought that this would be a fun little color palette. I almost want to make another one already because it was really hard to narrow it down to just 5 colors for a 90s throwback palette. So there might be a little part 2, or like this one's kind of more boyish, so maybe we'll do like a girly one that has like the Tamagotchis and like the Barbie dolls and the neon 90s kind of feel, which is also kind of why I want to make like a Lisa Frank inspired palette. That way it's like all of the bright neon colors and stuff, because I remember being little and going to school shopping and getting to pick out my folders and my binders and stuff that had like the Lisa Frank stuff on it, because that was so much fun. I was very much a Lisa Frank girly, because I loved bright, colorful things and artsy things, of course, because I've always been that way, but it was just a really fun thing too, so I might go back and do that. So comment down below if you think you would be interested in some of those color palette ideas as well. If so, I'll make a whole nother video and give you some fun facts and stuff about that, but I need to stop talking and I need to get into this. So whenever I usually make a safety eye set for the first time, I feel like 30 millimeters are a very good set to test on. They've got a lot of space on them. They've got plenty of room for specialty things if you're adding anything like that. It's very easy to see what colors they are, and it's a size that sells very well, I feel like. And so that's what I'm going to do, is 30 millimeter eyes. I also went ahead, and this is how I keep track of my formulas, because I have a little binder where I keep all of these, but I have all of my things written down. I have the names of the actual colors that I will list them as on here, so I go ahead and pre-plan all of that. I know some people prefer to make the safety eye sets and stuff, or kind of curate them afterwards and then name them and stuff, but I think it really helps me to visualize like an actual inspiration and name to help give it life a little bit. So that's why I wanted to show you my process as well. So I'm going to really quickly write down all of the glitters that I'm going to be using. I also like to make notes on here if I put more of one color versus another. Like we talked about earlier, whenever I go to do like high volume, I want it to be mostly green, but a hint of that black color in there. Same thing with the Jazz Design. I want it to be mostly teal because there is more teal in the actual pattern, and then I want it to be a hint of purple. So I'm gonna make those notes on this paper as well as I go on. So I'm gonna write all of that down really quickly, and then I will come back and we will actually get started mixing up the safety eye colors, and I'll show you what supplies I will be using for that as well. Okay, now that I have everything written down, I'm gonna get out my supplies really quickly, which is quick and easy. I have wooden stores by Gusto. I have these on my Amazon storefront, which is linked down in my description below, but I always just rip these in half. They're really easy to break, and I just use half of it. I feel like I have more control over just half of the stick. I also ordered plastic, what are they called? Like condiment cups for mixing my colors in, which I've talked about before. I use the Let's Resin, UV resin as well for all of my safety eyes supplies. And then that's basically it. So all I need to do is get out my safety eyes, start mixing my colors, and I'll show you how that process works. Perfect, and I got out just the perfect amount to make exactly 3 whole sets of all 5 colors. So I'll have 3 whole collections, and hopefully by the time this goes up tomorrow, I should have them listed on my Etsy along with some other sets that I've recently uploaded and stuff because of Black Friday deals this last weekend and stuff. I had added some eyes in case you hadn't seen them. So I also have those in my shop, and I will be sending out a ton of orders this week. I know I had a couple orders from the retro rave collection that I dropped that kind of fell through the cracks a little bit. I deeply apologize if you're one of those people that had ordered those. A lot of craziness has happened in the last couple weeks, which is why I've been posting shorter videos as well. It's been a crazy time in my personal life, so I'm very, very sorry about that. I'm going to be including some free eyes in those sets as well for those customers because I feel so bad. Oh, feel so bad. So these next ones I'm going to make sure I'm 110% on top of because there's just been so much happening, and I finally have a lot more time, but after I uploaded those, there was a lot that happened. So anyways, won't get too much into it, but I have everything out that I need to start mixing these up. I have my main colors, I have them on the left side, and I have kind of my colors that I want a hint of on the right side. So the left side's the main colors, the right side's the accent colors, all lined up over here so that I also don't reach for the wrong thing as well. I also like to keep one of my extra little condiment cups sitting next to me that has the little plastic, they're not really seals, but they're inside of those little things. So I like to keep a little bin, and I like to pour those out into those. That way it's ready and it's contained and they're not just sitting on my desk and getting glitter everywhere, because I like to make this as clean as possible. So I will be making 3 sets of each color, three pairs of each color at the same time. That way I can just mix it one time, get through a few sets, and then I will be done with that color and not have to go back to it. So I also decided that I'm going to back these in black. I feel like the black works the best with every single one of these colors. It's also easier than doing half of them in black and half of them in white. The only reason I really did that the last time was because I had some opaly colors that you could kind of see more through, and it was definitely going to affect the actual outcome if it was backed with something that was harshly dark like that. But all of these are not opal flakes at all and stuff, or the black really matches the vibe. Like, these are a little bit more opaly and translucent, but I feel like backing them in black will still look really good with the red as well that's mixed in there. So I feel like I need to quit talking and I just need to get to work. So this is also what I do whenever I make my safety eyes. I get out my little UV resin. I make sure that there's a nice little dollop, usually about like a nickel sized, probably for this many eyes, just down in the bottom corner. I have it in there. I put my main color of glitter in there as well. So let me change the POV so you guys can see exactly how I'm making these eyes real quick. Okay, I also turned on my extra little fan as well because I feel like that helps ventilate this room a little bit more. So I'm going to open up this one, take out the little protective seals real quick. Put the lids back on. Again, I want this one to be mostly this kind of opaly iridescent with the hint of red in it. So I'm going to put a good shake of that one in there, and then add the other chunky red. And then I'm just going to give this little color a good little mixing. I feel like red eyes are a hard color to use on things. So I end up using them on a lot of the primary animals colors that I end up using. So like if I do like a blue dinosaur, I feel like blue and red go really well together. I feel like if I make something that's orangey or yellowy, red really goes well on those because it's still warm toned, right? And so I feel like people struggle a lot of times on what to use these red eyes on, but I love using red eyes, which is why I wanted to make sure I had at least one of them in one of my collections. So this is perfect for this. I also, funny enough, I really do love the memories I have because of Pizza Hut. Our school did a book it reading program, which I don't know if everybody does this or if anybody else even remembers this happening, I feel like, but they have a book it reading program. And so if you read so many books off the book it list, at the end of, I think it was like each month, I think, and you recorded it all, that you could actually get a Pizza Hut like coupon, and you would get like a free little personal pizza from Pizza Hut. And I remember doing that when I was little and like feeling so rewarded by doing that. And I remember like our family going after, you know, like my siblings and me got our little buckets, and we would go over there and we would eat as like a special little treat for, you know, doing so well in school and stuff. And so that was always super fun as well. I loved doing the book it program. I loved reading when I was little too. um it was just a really, really fun thing for me. And so that's kind of what more inspired like this the pizza lights, you know, the pizza lights colorway here. But I specifically remember these lights whenever we went one time, and I wanted to include it because it brings my heart joy. So I wanted to make sure I included it. And after was looking up like 90s things, I saw those lights and it just sparked that memory. And I was like, I don't know if anybody else will even understand this, but I am definitely going to put these on an eyeball. Like, but I was definitely a reader when I was littler. I loved reading. I loved books. I loved the Geronimo Stilton books for some reason when I was like little bitty. I loved the Goosebumps books. We had a lot of like what was it called? The Babysitter's Club books and stuff. We got a lot of our books from like, I feel like yard sales and stuff, and like we couldn't keep up. Like my mom, I feel like, could not keep up with how many books I was reading. I was just constantly reading when I was little, anything and everything that I possibly could. So bless her heart, she always had something for me to read. Okay, she always did. But I love her for that, for encouraging that so much as well when we were littler. Okay, up next is the controller crush color. So we'll just repeat the same process. Again, I will show you which colors I'm going to use. I'm going to use these two. I'm going to use this color shifting one a little bit more, then a hint of this light green one. I personally don't remember having a Nintendo 64, but whenever I saw it, the one memory that it kind of sparked was I had one of the like see-through translucent like Game Boys when I was younger, and I loved that thing. That thing was like my holy grail. It stuck with me all the time. And then I remember having like the actual little square Game Boy one, like the little flip up one, and it was red, and I remember loving that thing to death. And just the memories that I had like gaming on those little devices when I was younger were honestly great memories. They're like some of my favorite memories. And like even like me and my brother fighting over whose device was whose, or whose game was whose, and those kinds of things were just so much fun to me too, even looking back now. And so I definitely don't remember having a Nintendo like that, but I just saw it and I thought it was really iconic, and I know somebody out there somewhere, okay, remembers that happening, but personally not me. I almost named this one like Nickelodeon, because like, you know, the old Nickelodeon logo is very much like that bright orangey color. And for some reason I didn't. I don't know why I didn't end up doing that, but I just thought these were all kind of like gamer inspired a little bit more, and something about that just sounded more fun. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep it, you know, controller crush. It sounds so cute. It's so much fun. So that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I ended up doing. So okay, I feel like that color is pretty good. It's a good little amount. Again, we only have 6 eyes total to paint for each color. If I mix up too much, usually what I do is I paint all the eyes that I need to, and then I either go back and I double, triple check because I'm already double checking as I go, but I triple check and make sure that there's no see-through spots that are like any spots I missed or anything like that, and I fill it in with the extra. Or what I do sometimes is I grab out another pair and I add a little bit of like another color or something fun to it, or some specialty little sequins, and I've been mixing up something that's just a little bit different than the colors in my collections, and I've been putting them into the mystery eye page over on my Etsy. So if you're interested in getting some random mystery pairs of eyes, feel free to go check that out. I know one of the mystery pairs that I uploaded, it's probably my favorites I've made so far, but they're like little stained glass looking eyeballs. Oh my goodness. Those were so tedious to make. I honestly should be charging more than that for them, but they were so much fun to make. I kept a pair for myself even because I know that I'm going to regret it if I get rid of all of them, but so yeah, if you're ever like, that's one thing I think helps spark my like creativity to come back a little bit, is like ordering mystery pairs. I know I talked about this before because there's another creator on Etsy that I had ordered some mystery pairs off of, and I love it when my mom gives me some random eyeballs to mess around with, you know, and use, because, you know, again, it's the same thing, right? It's, you don't know what you're gonna get, and trying to find the perfect plushie to put like custom painted safety eyes on is so much fun to me, and it just helps me get me out of whatever creative slump I might be in as well. So okay, up next is the jazz design. I personally had to go down some deep dark rabbit holes to figure out what the heck this pattern was called. I personally know it as the design that's like on the side of paper cups. Don't know where those paper cups are from, but that's what my brain is telling me about those designs. So I was like having to research and everything, like, where is this design actually from and stuff, and like it's from the 90s is what it said. So I was like, I'm gonna throw it into this thing because it was one of the ones that I definitely wanted to do out of this collection. It was such, it's, I don't know what it is about this thing, but this pattern is so iconic. Everybody knows the jazz design pattern, whether you know what it's called or not. It just, it sparks a lot of joy for me for some reason, and so I wanted to make sure I included it. Oh yeah, this is gonna be so perfect. Like, you can't even hardly tell that there's purple in here. It just all looks teal, but then it shifts to purple. Oh yes, that's gonna be perfect. And as you can see, there is 4 pairs. I am personally making sure I make myself a pair of these because this is like my colors. I love these colors together anyways, and anything, pretty much any of the blue colors I ever make in safety eyes, I always end up using on some sort of sea creature, I feel like. So I'm like, this would be really cute on like a Tice the Turtle maybe or something, because I don't know if you guys are new here or not, but I do have some patterns over on my Etsy as well, and Tice the Turtle is one of them that's very popular. I don't talk about it personally a whole lot because I made a ton of them and I got really burnt out on him after making him so much at the very beginning. So I'm waiting for me to get my spark back a little bit on him. I'm very bad about that. If I lose my spark on a pattern, I will not revisit it for quite a while, but that pattern has, how do I say this? Blown up for me, in my eyes at least. It's done very well over on Etsy, and I've had a lot of creator friends who have shared the pattern and talked about the pattern, and just sent a lot of love my way for that pattern, and I greatly appreciate every single person who has mentioned it or tried him or purchased him. He was on sale in my Etsy shop this weekend too, so I had a lot of really amazing sales and people reach out about the pattern and stuff over the weekend, so I greatly appreciated it. It also helped me get my crojo back a little bit. As you know, I've been struggling with keeping my crojo going a little bit, which is why I've been doing a lot of my safety eyes, right? Because although it's not completely crochet related, it is crochet adjacent, and it's what's making me happy right now. And I know me and my mom both live by do what makes you happy, and if making a turtle doesn't make me happy right now, I'm not gonna make a turtle. So but making safety eyes for you guys and getting to make these color palettes and inspired by all of these different things and stuff has been absolutely a blast for me lately. So I've been pouring a bit more of my free time into that while I can. So I appreciate all the love and support though, as always. You guys are awesome. You guys keep me going, honestly. And I know this is just a very small corner of the world that you decided to join, but I know for me personally, it means the absolute world to me. So I just feel like I don't say that enough, so thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you guys for being here. I also hope this video helps you realize kind of why creators price their eyes at what they price them at. Like, this is technically one of my basic designs, like I said, that I'm going to be putting in my shop. And I have other designs where I put specialty sequins or patterns or something extra in them, you know? And I just want to make sure that you guys also know that, it does take time, I will say. I think most of the makers here understand that, which is very awesome, because there is a lot of outside influence, you know, into the crochet community where people think that some projects aren't worth it and stuff. And you definitely get that at craft shows a lot too, and you kind of forget that hey, this really did take me 8 hours. Like, this should be priced this high, you know? And so I think that this kind of also gives you guys the idea of like real time, this is how much it takes. Like, this is not a reel or anything. This is not a clip chopped up to make you think it takes absolutely no time at all, because it does take lots of time. So okay, I also turned on my extra little fan as well, because I feel like that helps ventilate this room a little bit more. So I'm going to open up this one, take out the little protective seal. Okay, I'm set up for the next color and everything. This one's honestly pretty self-explanatory, at least to me it is. This is going to be the high volume color. I feel like everybody's seen this at some point with that bright neon green on the volume bar. Trying to set it to just the perfect volume was always such a hard task, I feel like. And funny enough, I have issues with, I don't know what it is. I don't know if anybody else can relate to this either, but there is very certain, like volume settings that I really do like. And if the TV's not on the right volume, it drives me insane, let me tell you. Okay, so it's like, okay, the volume 1, I don't like, because like, why don't you just have it on 2? Because 2's an even number and 2 is so much better. And then 3, you can't have it on 3. If you're gonna put it on 3, you might as well just round it up to 5, okay? So you might as well round it up to 5 at that point. So 4, same thing, round it up to 5. So it can be on 5. If it's gonna be on 6, it might as well be on 5. If it's gonna be on 7, it might as well be on 10. If it's gonna be, it can be on 8 though, because 8's 2 away from 10, but it's still an even number, because you need it in between somewhere in there, okay? And then 10, perfectly fine, okay? So like, no odd numbers, but like 5 is fine. Does that make sense? Does anybody else do that? Or is that just like a special little tism thing I do, I feel like? Because I don't know what it is, but it's something in my brain just itches the wrong way when the volume's on the wrong setting. Like, my boyfriend all the time right now, he will turn the volume to 19 on the TV. And I'm like, can you round it up to 20, please? Please, 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 please. Or else it'll sit there and it'll bother me. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. But I have always been that way. Volume on the TV is a big thing for me for some reason. Okay, this green is really pretty. I really like this greenish yellow color. Okay. Let us get to painting. Okay, friends, we are down to the very last color. And last but not least, again, it is going to be PlayStation, aka Pixel Dust. I wanted to name everything the exact thing that inspired the colors, but I feel like that's probably a bit of a copyright issue down the line, so I was like, I'm not going to do that, okay? Again, these colors are not perfect. They are not exact replications of the thing that they're inspired by anyways. It's just something I'm honestly doing for fun to inspire some patterns and some creativity and all that jazz. But I mostly got the idea again from like Arcane Fiberworks. If you don't follow their Instagram or their pages, you should definitely look them up. They are brilliant. They take amazing like inspiration pictures and turn yarn skeins into like those exact replications, basically like color for color. They are absolutely gorgeous. They nail it every time. I love their products. I love what they do. Their products just aren't, I love the look of their products, I should say. I haven't actually tried any of it because personally I don't use that kind of yarn, but I've seen other creators use it and talk about it, and I love watching them talk about it too and lining up over the new colors they've come out with and stuff. So I've definitely enjoyed their company in the crochet community and what they provide and their services, of course. So definitely go check them out if you want some like really cool yarns and stuff. So that's basically where I got the idea of like finding the image first, because something about like literally seeing the color palette right next to like your final product is just so inspiring to me for some reason. So I was like, that's literally what I want to do. That's what I'm going to do. So that's what I'm doing. Now, I will say, while I was researching some of these colors and stuff, I did find out that PlayStation used to be 2 words, and I didn't know that actually. I grew up playing on a PlayStation console, and then I switched to Xbox and back to PlayStation a couple of times here and there. Now I'm obviously on a PC that I can edit on and everything as well, but I also game on my PC as well. But I built it and I researched all the parts for it and everything. Really scary process. Probably wouldn't do it again because I'm still not sure how my computer didn't explode. I did have problems with it when I first built it and had to go get it looked at by like a technician, or computer specialist or whatever you want to call it. And he switched out a part or two and it worked perfectly fine. He just thinks that those parts might have came in like damaged or something, but I had no idea that they were damaged after I had put them in. So um, he helped me get fixed up and got working really quickly, which is why when I first started my YouTube channel, I feel like my videos were a little bit sporadic because I had really no other way to, you know, edit and create content and stuff besides like on my computer, I felt like. So that was a huge deal whenever I first got that enabled and everything. But yeah, I'm definitely a gamer. I love games. I'm really excited that Animal Crossing's getting such a big update as well, from what I've heard. Um, I loved Animal Crossing. I fell in love with it right after kind of COVID times, I would say, kind of like 2021-ish. I probably fell in love with it. Um, and I got a Switch and everything to play just Animal Crossing on, and I spent so many hours. I have hundreds of hours in that game, which is insane to me now. But I loved that game, and I'm like trying to get my inspiration and my creativity back up to maybe hopefully jump back on and everything sometime soon. But yeah, I believe that everybody should have a couple different hobbies that they kind of adventure off into every once in a while if they're getting burnt out on one. And like I said, if I'm not crocheting, I really want to be making safety eyes now, or patterns, or updating my Etsy listings and those things. I feel like crochet in general has a bunch of different side hobbies into one, and we don't acknowledge all of them sometimes. So I have a deep appreciation for it. So I'm glad that crochet has kept me out of trouble for so long. Yeah, and I'm just very grateful to be a part of this community and to help you guys hopefully find your communities as well down in the comments and stuff, or all of that. So I know it's kind of cheesy. I keep getting cheesy today. But this has been a fun video to make. I really want to make more like this, but I don't know if you guys would be interested in that. Maybe leave a comment down below if you thoroughly enjoyed this video, but we ain't done yet. I gotta show you the final results here in a little bit. Let's make this, I'm gonna need a little bit more than this to make another pair. So I want to go ahead, maybe add some regular opal to it. And maybe a little bit of the black that I used for the volume. No, it's kind of like a gradient. We have silver, we have white, and we have black in here, which will be pretty. Ooh, this is an interesting combo. Whoa, this combo is crazy. But I just thought it would be fun to show you really quickly since I was going to do it anyways. Kind of what inspires my little mystery eyes. See, like, we just took that last color and added a little bit of black and a little bit more opal. And we just get such a crazy, random, cool, holographic, galaxy-looking eye. You know what I mean? I think that's so much fun. So I'm going to put the rest of this on this other eye, and then we will get back to the actual colors that we're here for. Okay, welcome back up to my level. We have all of the safety eyes done, as you saw. What I'm gonna do now that I have all of my colors ready to go, ready to be backed and everything, as I talked about earlier, I wanted to make these even simpler than the Gravy Glow collection if I could, and so I want to make sure I back them all with the same color. So for that, I've decided that black will look good with all of them, like I mentioned earlier, so I'm going to grab my little mica powder, and we're gonna back them all in black. So to do this, I do the same thing as I did with my glitters. I just mix up a good amount since I know that I'm going to be covering all of these with the same mixture. So instead of like a nickel-sized amount, I will basically make at least a quarter-sized amount. I usually start pouring in the middle of these little cups, and whenever it reaches like this outer ring kind of area, you know, I just stop there. Worst case scenario, if you need to mix up more, you need to mix up more. And then these mica powders, love these mica powders. I've been backing all of my eyes in them just to make sure there's a nice little solid layer behind them, and I can mix them up into my UV resin. I know that they're going to cure the same way and everything. I can mix up custom colors. I have a whole box of like 24 different colors that I can pick from. They come with these little foils on the tops of them too, and I've just been taking my little plastic sticks and poking a little hole so I know that the powder won't come out too fast either, which has also been very handy since there's not like a little shaker or something on it. So I will say I've been doing that as well. But yeah, I'm going to put the black backing coat on all of these, and then they should be ready. We'll throw them onto a little safety eye card, as you've seen from my other safety eye sets. And then I will show you the final results. I'll go outside, take some cute videos and pictures and stuff as well. That way I can get them posted and uploaded. That way by the time this video goes live, you guys will also have access to these eyes along with my other ones. So, whew, okay, I need to breathe more often. I feel like I'm talking too much today, but hopefully that just means a longer video for you to crochet along to, hopefully. But well, without further ado, I'm going to pour up this next color. I'm going to get started. As you saw, I like to place my eyes kind of like four wide and then just keep going down my mat. Usually when I do the backings, I have them all, when I do the glitter later, whenever I do the glitter layer, like the first layer like we just did, I usually lay them all out on the left side as well of my silicone mat, and then as I back them, I just move them over to the right side and I start moving my light down just like I did with the regular glitter, which also makes things easier as well, just because it keeps things organized, this side, this side. It just keeps me moving and kind of like a autopilot kind of motion. So I'm going to move you back down. We're going to watch me back all of these eyes super fast in time's lap, and then like I said, I will be back to show you my safety eye cards once they're finished. Hi friends, welcome back, and it looks like we are all wrapped up for today. We got all 3 sets of completely finished safety eyes done, along with a few mystery pairs that we kind of threw in along the way that you saw. I want to show you the final results one more time, and hopefully some good videos as well with some good lighting and whatnot. But here we have all of our sets. We have Pizza Party at the top. We have Controller Crush under that. Then the blue one we have as Jazz Design. The one below that, the greenish one, is called High Volume. And then the very bottom one, it's kind of looking cockeyed, there we go, that's much better, is called Pixel Dust. And so this is our little 90s inspired kind of color palette. I love all of these colors. Honestly, this is a great safety eye collection for just about any kind of projects. I mean, we have basically a version of all of the primary colors plus an amazing green and the amazing silver that could match pretty much anything and everything that you could imagine. Some of them are more color shifting. Some of them are more just chunky glitters. This one has both in it. The purple color changes back to the teal, so it's kind of invisible at some angles, and then other angles you can kind of see the purple peeking through for the design. And then again, the high volume's really pretty greenish yellow color shift with black. And then the bottom one's just honestly a really pretty holographic silver. I really wish I had some kind of other silvery kind of gray color that I could have used, but no matter what, I wanted them to be glittery, and all of them were very reflective, so I had pretty much no choice other than to make it holographic as well. So I completed 3 of these sets for today. I took them outside and I did some videos as well to show you kind of what they looked like in more of a natural light. It was kind of starting to snow and flurry a little bit as I was taking these outside, but I wanted to make sure I got a good video with good lighting. That way I could post these over on my Etsy. That way whenever you guys see this video, they will be in my Etsy shop already. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, they will also be in there along with some other safety eye sets. I can actually show them to you really quickly, but we do have the candy store one with the little kind of glass rocks in there, which is really pretty. I also uploaded the Groovy Glow collection, which is what inspired this one as well in there. It's literally the inverted versions of these. But yes, I love these palettes. I'm so glad they came together, and I'm glad that you were here for the process from start to finish. If this is a kind of video that you would like more often, maybe, I would be very excited about that, because I loved filming this, the behind the scenes, getting to talk to you guys literally firsthand of what I thought of every single color, why I switched colors out, why I took some out. Just my whole thought process behind all of this is so interesting, and if I was a viewer, I would think it was quite interesting to hear it all and get to see how the whole process is made as well. Especially if you go and you purchase these eyes, you know exactly how they were made. So I just think it's a super cool process and a great idea to maybe start adding more of these to my channel. But if you're interested in that, please comment down below. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment down below as well what you're maybe working on while you're watching this video. I just love hearing from you guys in the comments. Literally comment anything. I just love hearing from you guys. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about any of the supplies I used or the process or anything like that, also feel free to mention those down below and I'll be happy to help. And if you guys need anything, don't forget to like this video, and you guys know where to find me, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye!